Alrighty. Welcome to part 4 to what if Naruto left Konoha to go to Kiri. And shoot. Okay. Whoops. Don't mind that. Alright. Uh let's get started. I don't think I have any announcement to make, so yeah. Alright, Naruto, are you ready to no. Lava and Boil release training, 1 week later. Alright, Naruto, are you ready to learn Lava and Boil release? May asked the blonde as they stood in the Tirami's training ground, prepared to start Naruto's advanced training. Yes, May Sensei. May smiled at his enthusiasm. He had been jumping up and down all morning. 1 second. Before we begin, you must understand how to manipulate 12 elements to create new chakra nature. Only then will you be able to use your Kekken Genkai effectively to mix the molding chakra together. Now then, I want you to gather a sizable amount of mud in your mouth while trying to conjure a fireball from your lungs. Naruto was confused. How was he supposed to do that? Naruto started to mix his saliva with earth nature chakra, slowly forming it into a muddy substance. At the same time, he attempted to focus the air in his esophagus into a heated blaze, ready to shoot out from his mouth. He found it incredibly difficult. It was like trying to walk left and right at the same time. You can't do it, can you? May asked rhetorically. She enjoyed seeing Naruto try to do the impossible. It suited him. Naruto spit out some mud and shook his head, ashamed he couldn't fall through with her order. May set a comforting hand on his shoulder, making him look at his sensei. The point was to show you that you can't do it, Naruto, you silly man. You silly little man. I want to show you why your Keki Genkai is so unique, and why I made the Uzumaki so powerful. Normal shinobi would have to mix their chakra like what you just tried, making it impossible for them to conjure a lava ball, like I tried to make you do. Naruto was interested in this, so why was the other shinobi, why, so why had, so why, what, so that's why other shinobi had not mastered the advanced element. They couldn't do them at all. So how does my kicking Ikai allow me to do what others can't? May was glad he asked. Learning how to do a technique was one thing. Learning how it's done and the mechanics are integral to the learning process. The kicking Ikai we share allows our body to naturally mold and fire and fire and earth at the same time. Thanks to ancestors who have long since passed, for example, a normal shinobi to accomplish the lava jutsu would have combined two nature chakra types while trying to mold them together like would attempt a normal jutsu. Impossible. We, on the other hand, mold our chakra using hand signs for the lava jutsu, and our body automatically combines the earth and fire chakra for us. Naruto stared at her wide-eyed. The advantages of Keikin Genkai were amazing. Naruto as almost felt as though he was cheating. That's amazing, Mei Sensei. What kind of with that kind of advantage, we could take on almost any shinobi for a wide variety of jutsu. Mei laughed at his summary. While it was somewhat true, she didn't want Naruto to go down the overconfident path many bloodline users did. She scolded him with playfulness evident in her tone, but the message was very serious. We're back. Sorry about that. I'm back. Where was I? Come on. I'm trying to find where I am. That's. Oh, holy crap. I can't. She scolded him with playfulness evident in her tone, but the message was very serious. Now, Naruto, you have to make sure you always take an opponent seriously. Just because you have something others don't doesn't mean you will always win. Understand? Naruto saluted and nodded, understanding her lesson. I won't become like Sasuke. I'm better than that. Right, Mei-chan. So how exactly do I make a lava jutsu? Mei wanted to slap herself. She talked about it enough. Now Naruto actually needs to learn it. Oh, sorry, Naruto-kun. Let's start with something basic, like release lava bullet. It is a simple jutsu that I often used, so often in fact that I don't use hand signs anymore. For you, Naruto, you only need the dog hand sign to do so. Check your scroll for one more. Naruto read through his scroll. A list had dozens of lava jutsu, making Naruto giddy to learn all of them. He found the one in question and found a small diagram with hand seals and a description of the technique. The user would morph his lava chakra into bullets inside his mouth. Similar in technique to mud or water bullets. The user would then shoot the beloved in rapid succession, almost like a fire release from Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Alright, Mei Sensei, I'm ready. Mei held up her hand for him to stop, confusing the blonde. Just to warn you, although our bloodlines do not make us impervious to the dangers of the boil and lava release, you should be careful to watch your allies. They do not share the same natural defenses our bodies have, and you could very well kill someone on accident. Shoot for the tree right there and show me your accuracy. May pointed at a random tree, a bit far away from the rest. Naruto faced the tree and formed the dog hand sign slowly to make sure he got it right. Naruto opened his mouth and shot out the first lava glob that formed. A massive dark red and glowing yellow-orange magma. Naruto continued to spit out the glob, each somewhat similar to the last, and was satisfied to see each hit the target, slowly melting the tree and solidifying to a gray rock. As kicking up in the air, when what was left of the tree toppled over. Nice job, Naruto-kun. Naruto wiped out a bit of lava spittle from his lip, surprised that he was able to touch it without burning. Just like Earth Jutsu, looks like lava is going to be messy. Yeah, it tends to get a little messy when you use lava jutsu, Naruto, but it's worth it. May had noticed him watch out the lava jewel, as she had nicknamed it. Alright, any other type of lava release for today? May Sensei, I'll definitely have practiced these advanced nature though. It takes a lot more out of me, just to do a simple jutsu like the lava bullet. May understood. Eventually Naruto's body and chakra would adapt to the new element and it wouldn't tire him out as much. Let's see. How about we try another simple one? Work our way up until we get you to some of the most powerful jutsu that the Uzumaki were known for. Naruto's eyes widened, and he started jumping for joy. He knew he was going to learn his clan's hidden jutsu. You should try this one, Naruto. It only requires the tiger and dog hand signs. It's called lava release, bed of lava. It's similar to the mud river, just except that it covers the battlefield in a bed of lava while shaking the ground, making it dangerous for your enemies unless they can stay on their feet. Naruto nodded and looked over the jutsu a few times before getting up and trying it. Lava release, bed of lava. Naruto stomped his foot on the ground, and everything began to shake before lava started to seep out of invisible holes in the ground, covering the soil. Mei had already sent chakra to her feet, as did Naruto. Lava was difficult to stand on until it cooled and solidified. Nice job, Naruto. Naruto? Naruto began to wobble on his feet, tipping forward and backward before he began to fall face first toward the ground. Mei leapt forward and caught the tired boy. He expended more energy than she originally believed he would. Come on, Naruto, let's take a little break. I'll tell you about boil release while we get your strength up. May led him over to tree to get him away from sun rays. Today was one of the rare clear sky days, no mist to be found. May grabbed one of Naruto's already prepared ramen cups and handed it to him, but he could barely lift his arms. I'm sorry, Mace. I'm gonna make this in better voice. I'm sorry, Sensei. I feel really weak, damn it. Naruto felt so embarrassed not being able to lift his own damn arm, but May just smiled. She made it back. She made it so his back was against the tree, and she knelt behind him, ramen chopsticks in hands. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I'll feed you. Naruto was shocked. May was going to feed him. Sure, she used a chopstick to grab a sizable amount of noodles and held in front of Naruto. Say, ah, Naruto. May thought as he looked so cute. Blushing from embarrassment, she had to admit though, she had felt a bit warm doing this. It felt so nice. Ah, Naruto opened his mouth, and Mei guided the noodles in, allowing him to chew before she got more. As Naruto ate, he felt deja vu all over again, bringing him back to the day of survival training, the test to see if he were truly a Genin. Sakura-chan didn't seem to be enthusiastic when she fed me back then, like it was a chore. By the way, this is in Naruto's POV for some reason. May seem to not mind it at all though. Even though I feel very weak right now, I should feel embarrassed. May's smile always gives me a feeling that it doesn't matter to her what I am. She'd always like me anyways. All done, you sure are a pig, Naruto. Naruto hadn't even noticed that he was done eating and closed his mouth, feeling full. Now then, boil release is, how can I put this? Complicated. Naruto, you need to tell me about what usually happens when fire and water jutsu combine. Naruto went through an imaginary battle in his head and watched a fireball hit a water ball. Steam and vapor were created, and the water ball made the fireball dissipate. Steam and heated water is created, and water wins. May wanted to laugh at his simplicity, but kept it to herself. That's about it. It's very difficult to use two polar opposites together as a nature element. Wouldn't you think, Naruto? Naruto just nodded his head. He would have thought it was impossible if it had not been for his bloodline. Well, in a way, it is impossible. Boil release is complicated to maintain, and the other mechanics behind it sometimes confuse me. The go jutsu that I most often use is called boil release, skilled mist, and it creates a mist that is extremely acidic to our enemies. The thing is, there isn't really much else that you can manipulate to such delicate element. So I generally don't really think of any other jutsu that can be used. I encourage you to try and make up your own though, Naruto. It would be a glorious sight. May finished her explanation and smiled, and again smiled at Naruto's level of interest in her teachings. He looked like he hung off every word she said. Wow, Mei Sensei, you are smart. I promise to make a new jutsu in the bullet release, and then I'll teach it to you myself. Naruto gave her a weak thumbs up, and Mei giggled, happy that Naruto hadn't lost his cheerful personality. He might very well do it. Naruto is full of surprises. Naruto, would you like to call it a day or try bullet release? Naruto thought about it and how his body was feeling. I think I can move. I think I can move now. What the hell? What? Ish. I think I can move now. What the hell? Let's try it. I'm ready to go, Mei Sensei. Mei smiled at his tenacity and stood up, working out the kinks in her back and kneeling the entire time. She offered a hand to Naruto and he took it, allowing the woman to pull him up. Alright, Naruto, it only has one hand sign, horse. And if you feel the misty vapor coming up your esophagus, just open your mouth and allow it to leave on its own accord. Maintain the hand sign until you have the desired area of mist. And if you practice enough, you won't even have to hold the hand sign to generate the mist. Naruto formed the horse hand shield and molded his chakra. He felt a relaxing mist tickle up his esophagus, and he opened his mouth when it reached the top. He saw an almost colorful mist, colorless mist seep out from the opening. The mist spread out and moved further away from Naruto, making him unable to see the area of effect. It was difficult to explain, but he could feel it. He knew just how far to extend the mist before putting his hand down and closing his mouth. Naruto looked at Mei with questioning gaze, and she looked at him with a proud smile. Is that all there is to it, Mei Sensei? Mei nodded and pointed to the area that the mist enclosed. Yes, Naruto. If there was a person in there, the skin would be burning and peeling off right now. It's quite an agonizing, painful jutsu. Naruto scratched his chin and observed the jutsu, wondering how it dispersed if it could maintain itself without a hand sign. So Mei Sensei, if you can't cancel the jutsu by dropping a hand sign, then what do you do? Mei looked at him with a smile, reminding her of when she first learned to harness the jutsu. I asked the exact same thing. Well, Naruto, you do you have the strange feeling of awareness about the cloud of mist, as if you can feel it? Naruto nodded and Mei smiled. A quick learner. You have to use that feeling and will the odd acidity of the mist to go back to normal level. In turn, you can also increase the acidis, acidis, di- acidity of the mist. Beginners often use the horse hand seal to help them control it. It makes it easier to enter the chakra. Naruto formed the horse hand seal. Uh, yeah, horse hand seal, and focused on his awareness on the cloud of mist, willing to have the chakra maintaining it to be weaker and weaker, until he could no longer feel his tingly sensation. Mei held up a ram sign and sent it for the chakra mist to see if Naruto dispersed it correctly, and she smiled upon seeing he did so. So how did I do for today, Mei Sensei? Naruto asked as they began to walk back to their estates, happy with his early progress. I didn't mess up on a single jutsu. I rock. If you keep up this pace of learning, I might just run out of things to teach you before this year is even over, she complimented, setting a hand on his shoulder. Naruto was overjoyed by the praise. He couldn't wait until tomorrow, when he was starting his swordsman training. 1 second. The two entered the Terumi estate and went straight upstairs, intent on taking a nap from the tiring day so far. Naruto stood at his door, watching Mei enter her own room, and closed the door behind her. He was lost deep in thought. I wish Mei and me could do more things together. I always feel more better when I'm around her, but sometimes I'm scared of the feeling. What does it mean? It is love, obviously. It means you're falling in love, idiot. Naruto face faulted after hearing the deep voice in his head. What the? Who the hell are you? I am the QB, dummy. Can't you remember all the times you visited me in my cage? Naruto facepalmed. How could he forget? With all things going on, he had been doning out the QB. Oh, sorry, didn't know we could talk to each other like this. It doesn't matter. You and I have so much to discuss about this training you're doing. What would that be? While the training will make you strong enough to handle the life of a shinobi, it is not enough for you to survive the life of a jinchuriki. You and I will have to work on training for you to utilize my chakra more effectively, otherwise we'll both die. Naruto hesitantly agreed with his logic. I suppose, when will we train? I have a pretty full training schedule if you haven't noticed. The QB had to calm himself. Humans could be very annoying when they wanted to be. Of course I know that, you idiot. Eventually you'll get to a point in training where you have mastered what you are to learn. Then you can focus on my training. Oh, so you're hoping that I get done with my training earlier than expected? Yes, but I figure you shouldn't be able to do it. You should be able to do it. You may be dumb, but for being a shinobi, you're alright. Naruto's face faltered again. Thanks, QB. I can already tell your pep talks are going to be the best. Thanks. Learning your language has been a bitch. At least the least I can do is try to cheer you up. Naruto climbed into the bed and turned off the light, enveloping himself in darkness. He closed his eyes and went over to his conversation with the QB, replaying the first part. Wait a minute, what the hell do you mean love? The fox was already pleasantly sleeping, and all Naruto could do was dwell on the thought. In love with May, she is very attractive, but she's older than me, and she probably doesn't like me like that. Besides, Mom said to find an Uzumaki girl, or otherwise I can't pass her bloodline on. At least it would be diluted if I didn't find another pure blood. Oh well, I guess I'll figure it out. May's bedchambers. Was Naruto looking at me when I walked in? Must have been checking my ass, little birds. I'm sorry. May changed into her nightgown and moved to her mirror, examining herself. She moved her hands up and down her chest, always hitting her breast. She grabbed them and tried to guess their size, very large at least, something that seemed very attractive to most men. Stop, this is No Nut November. This story, very interesting. Why is it that I feel like I don't mind Naruto looking at me like a man would? I couldn't like him like that. I shouldn't. I'm too old for someone his age. But he has grown and is still growing and he can be very sweet and mature when the situation calls for it. And he is funny and strong. Just kinda my guy. Like mother always said, I should find the nice little Uzumaki boy. At least before we split from the clan. But now Naruto has been put in front of me. Mine for the taking. What should I do? Well, the choice is pretty obvious. At this point, May was sitting on her bed, looking out the window in deep thought. Taking a deep breath, the redhead got up and marched to her door, completely ignoring the fact that she was practically naked. She slammed her door open and kicked down Naruto's bedroom door, startling the boy into consciousness. He gripped the blanket close to his face in fear of whatever could be lurking in the dark. Naruto! The blonde heard the melodious voice of the Mizukage, but was afraid and confused at what had warned her to yell at him. He tried to form a response, but but any chance of speaking was lost when he felt her grip when she felt her grip his night collar, bring him close to her face. She kissed him on the lips. It was a very rough and hungry kiss that only lasted a few seconds. Uh, but it was all he needed. Is this gonna be lemon? Hello. It was almost as if the Mizukage was claiming her property, and this property sure as hell wanted to be claimed. You, me, date, day after tomorrow, be there. She threw the boy back onto his mattress, allowing him to just lay there, wide-eyed and blushing. His lips were stained with blue lipsticks, and he was touching the tingling lips with reverence. Oh yeah, sorry about the door. A little too excited. Hee hee. She giggled and plopped the door back up, leaving Naruto alone in the room, completely blown away by her kiss. What the hell? Kyubi had woken up as well and felt like patting the kid on the back. You just scored big time. Oh my gosh. The story is really good. I like it. Seven Swordsman Training. Kirigakure Anbu Headquarters. So, Chojiro-san, what is the function of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist? Naruto walked alongside the swordsmen. They were headed for the training ground in the Anbu headquarters. Chojiro scratched his chin, thinking about the best way to describe it. Well, Naruto-san, the swordsmen of our organization are almost always Jonin, elite ninja of the village. Because of this, and the special training we receive as swordsmen, the Mizukage often assigns us as bodyguard, or assassination, taking on the most difficult missions Kiri receives. Let's see, in a way you could compare us to the Tannin in terms of rank. It's an unofficial honor that doesn't have much say in politics other than respect, and even then we don't have much of that since Zabuza Sensei and Kisame Senpai left the village. Naruto nodded, having the tendency of people leaving the village from your organization can look good on a resume. Okay, but what? But why do you sometimes wear a Nambu mask? Chojuro smiled at that, touching the item in question. Well, when I'm not on a dangerous mission due to our elite status, we're often inducted by Ambu or Hunter Ninja Corps to serve with them while we are in the village. Keeps our skills sharp. At the moment, I'm serving as an Ambu because I have no swordsman mission to accomplish. If I remember correctly, Rega Senpai was a Hunter Ninja when he left the village. It was it was because of unknown circumstances during one of his missions. So swordsmen are almost always serving as Anbu or Hunternin until they get one of those special swordsman only missions. Cool. That's pretty cool. So Chojuro Han stunned. How to become one of the swordsmen? Chojuro mocked surprise and skepticism. Even though he was smirking on the inside, uh, just like the Mizukage said he would ask. Now I have to butter him up to the idea. Oh, but Naruto-san, you can't be thinking about joining our organization, could you? Naruto's eyes widened, and he started nodding his head vigorously, liking the idea. Oh well, that's too bad. Only elite ninja can become one of seven swordsmen. It requires a lot of training. You probably couldn't handle it. Naruto gripped the older teen's shoulder, shaking him violently. No, I can handle it. I'll do any training. I'll listen to whatever you say. Chojuro Sensei, please allow me to try. Chojuro went to an exaggerated thinking pose and looked back at Naruto, skepticism still evident in his narrowed eyes. You sure you want to try? Naruto just nodded and the older boy shrugged, accepting it. Alright then, you first have to change your name. Each one of our names end up translating into a fruit. So if you change your so you need to change yours. Naruto went wide-eyed at that. He couldn't change his name. He just couldn't. I'm kidding, Naruto-san. Mizukage-sama said to make an exception for you, but Chojuro warned only after Naruto let out a relieved sigh. You will have to get sharpened teeth like mine. See? Chojuro opened his mouth and pointed to his shark teeth, causing the younger blonde to look at him like he was crazy. Well, how am I supposed to get those teeth, Chojuro-sensei? Chojuro scratched the back of his head, uh, trying to remember the big speech his instructor gave him. Well, a long time ago, when the first inhabitants of Kier started fighting sharks, you know what? Never mind that. I was supposed to give you a big speech, but it'll be easier if I just show you the hand signs. Chijiro brought his hand up to show the sequence, but Naruto blurted out his thoughts. Wait a minute, you mean you can tell me what you mean to tell me that you guys got those teeth from a jutsu? Chijiro just nodded and Naruto face palmed. Wow, I always thought it was something more badass. Chojuro got a little annoyed by that. His teeth were badass anyways. Hey, this is Kirigakure Kinjutsu. Forbidden knowledge. You should be grateful I'm even giving you the chance to see the jutsu. Naruto calmed down and bowed to his sensei, apologizing for his outburst. Sorry, sensei, please continue. Chojuro had never been called sensei until today by Naruto, and he had to say he liked it. That's better. Now watch. He went through the hand signs, allowing Naruto to copy them, and then mold his chakra into his heels. He opened his mouth and felt like his teeth were being drilled into. They were changing shape and sharpening themselves. Give me a second again. Alright, sorry, I am back. Okay. It hurt Chojuro sensei. Chojuro held finger up to his mouth for quiet. It would only hurt more if he talked. The process lasted no more than 30 seconds, but that was plenty enough for Naruto. There you go, Naruto-san. Now let me see them. Naruto opened his mouth, and the teeth looked inside and nodded his head, pleased with the result. All right, the jutsu was a success. Your first step in becoming swordsman is done. Now we just need to get you a sword, and you're done for his day. Naruto held his sore mouth and pouted, following the older ninja. Why does it feel like this trip, why does this feel like a trip to the dentist? My mouth feels like a nuclear bomb went off inside, and then I get a piece of candy, or in this case, a really big sword. Naruto-san, I know you. You probably have noticed how blades are, such as the Samahara and my own Himamekade, have special abilities built into their design but due to my sheer dif- but due to sheer difficulty in making them, these types of swords were discontinued. Our swords usually get passed down from sensei to student, and so on. However, I'm not going to give my blade to you since I'm not retiring. So that means we have to actually have your sword made. Do you have any idea what you might want? Naruto thought about it, and then had a bunch of ideas, but he couldn't just put his finger on one on one of them. I'm not sure, Chojuro Sensei. Can you show me the swords? Chojuro nodded and led him to another room. There was there on the table lay three swords. Each bore the look each bore the look of Davida's blade. The Kubikiri Hocho, one was perfect copy of it in a smaller form without the handle attached. Naruto liked it since it was simple carbon. Each more looked each bore the look of not of Zabuza's blade. The Kurikibi Hocho. I already read this. The, the next was a peculiar one. It had the shape of Zabuza's blade, but made smaller and connected to a chain that attached it to smaller hilt. So it was a smaller version of Zabuza's weapon that I can throw around and bring back from with the chain. Interesting. The last sword by far interested him the most. The blade looked like the first one, but there were two small holes on the blade and a longer hilt. He was confused by the design. Two swords? Chojuro Sensei, what is this one? Naruto pointed to the sword, and Chojuro walked over and picked it up, examining it. It appears to be a dual sword version of Zabuza Senpai's blade. Let's try it out. Chojuro picked up the hilt and told Naruto to hold on to the grips, which he did so. The swordsman picked up one of the two small blades and screwed its end onto the hilt. As soon as he did so, the blade grew four times its size, now looking exactly like Zabuza's. Naruto couldn't handle a sudden weight change and felt himself losing his grip. Luckily, Chojuro took the hilt from him and held it effortlessly with one hand, pointing the other to the other blade piece with the other. Naruto-san, please attach that one to the other end like I did. Naruto picked up the blade, and after a bit of fumbling, he was able to get on correctly and watched it grow in length too. Whoa, Chojuro Sensei, how can you hold that? Chojuro smirked. A lot of training, Naruto-san. So what blade do you want? Naruto looked at each, quietly mulling over their strength and weakness he could find. I'll take that one. Naruto pointed to two-ended sword Chojuro held, and the man smiled. Many have dual-wielded two swords like Reiga Senpai, but none have used a dual-ended sword like this, Naruto-san. Your training will be very interesting. Naruto nodded and tried to pick up the sword, but the best he could do was drag it along the floor. Naruto, just leave it here. It won't be going anywhere, and no one but the swordsman and maybe Mizukage are powerful enough to lift it. Naruto looked over his shoulder and nodded, leaning his sword against the wall. Well, if that's all, Chojuro Sensei, I need to head back to Teramiya State. I have to psych myself for tomorrow. Chihiro's confused. What does he mean? What do you mean? Do you mean you're training for Mizukage-sama? Naruto shook his head. The training is easy compared to this. I have to get ready for a date with the Mizukage. Chojuro fainted, literally at the thought of the Mizukage dating Naruto. He shrugged and left the large building, heading straight for home. Terami Estate. I'm home, Naruto exclaimed, already doubting May was back yet from work. The two stoic Ambu guards stood at the lobby looking at him. Naruto ignored the blank stares and went up to his room, where he sat on his bed thinking about what the day would be like tomorrow. She will probably get all dressed up. I wonder what May will look like in a dress. Wait, I don't have any fancy clothes. I better get to go get them. Naruto burst out of the house and went straight to the store that sold him his Kiri outfit, hoping that the shopkeeper could find him some fancy clothes. Ah, these will be perfect for tomorrow. Naruto walked back to the Terumi estate with a bag of clothes, courtesy of his new favorite shopkeeper. What will what what will be perfect, Naruto-kun? Naruto looked up to see Mei peeking into his shopping bag. She had recently gotten home from her duties as Mizukage and has heard his outburst. Naruto tore the bag away from her and ran up the stairs, startling the Kage. Nothing. Naruto put the bag of clothes away and to walk down to prepare dinner. He decided to try out some sushi. Keep it simple for night. Here you go, Mei-chan. Some nice sushi for the hardworking Mizukage. Something you definitely deserve. Mei sat at the table and smiled at Naruto when he brought the food, leaning over and kissing his cheek. Thank you, Naruto-kun. So, how was your training today with Chojuro? Naruto downed a piece of fish and looked at the woman. She seemed genuinely curious. It went all right. All we did was pick out a sword for me and got these cool new teeth. See, Mei-chan? Naruto flashed his new shark teeth at his sensei, making her giggle. May blushed a bit seeing the teeth in Naruto's mouth. They looked very good on the blonde. She had always found that the quality of the swordsman attractive for some reason. Just the thought of the man doing things to her with those teeth. He would have to be so gentle with teeth like those. but being bitten might not be all that bad either. Hmm. Oh, hey, Mei-chan, you're blushing again. Do you feel sick? Sick? Mei woke to Naruto leaning over the table, concerned for the reddened woman. Oh, yes, I'm fine, Naruto. The tea look wonderful, by the way. I enjoy them really very, very much. Naruto nodded, glad that she approved. Oh, what does your sword look like, Naruto? I always found those large swords look uncomfortable. Did you find something that suited you? Yes, actually. Although if I had to guess, it's probably double the weight of most of the other swords. It's a dual-ended blade. It looks similar to Zabuza Momoichi's blade. There was, only there are two blades attached to one another, with a hilt in the middle. I almost dropped it, um, with how heavy it was, but Chojuro Sensei told me that my training would let me grow more muscles to be able to wield it properly. May gasped at that. Naruto with no muscles, with more muscles, she could practically feel the drill pull up in her mouth. Good thing I already claimed the day with him, or else, um, good thing I already claimed the day with him. No other girls will get her hand on him. I just have to make it. I just have to make tomorrow night perfect. The next day, family jutsu training. All right, let's take a look at what dear old dad has left for me. Naruto opened up his life goal and shifted through the love. Okay, I don't know if if this is a word, so I'm gonna say shifted, even though it's Sifted. So Naruto opened up the large scroll and shifted through all the labels, looking for Namikaze. Aha! Found the pesky category and sent chakra coursing through his hand and touched that spot on the scroll. His father's jutsu scroll and kunai flopped out along with a book labeled as his father's sealing journal. Naruto opened up the jutsu scroll and saw two jutsu written with notes and explanations on how to use them. Naruto was very intrigued with the Hirshin but could not deny that the practicality of the Rasengan, both very good jutsu he had learned. He reread the information a couple times before picking up a kunai in his father's journal and walking outside the training ground. Upon arriving, Naruto placed a kunai on his hip pouch, forming his trademark hand sign. Multi-shadow clone. Naruto appeared in front 1000 Naruto appeared in front of him, taking up most of training yards. Alright, divide into groups of 500. The first group will work on Rasengan exercise while the other will work on understanding the Hirshin and getting used to the three brown kunai. Naruto smirked as his clones quickly got to work. If he did this every day, the jutsu would be easily learned within the next few weeks. Naruto walked over to Shady Tree and sat underneath it, deciding to spend the time reading his father's journal. Upon opening the book, he read his father's personal writings and descriptions and the art of sealing. And while interesting, Naruto knew that he needed a more tangible thing to learn than notes. Naruto shifted through the book, finding many pictures and description of the seals. Both seals his father had made or had just encountered all had unique properties about them that constantly grabbed Naruto's attention. Naruto continued to look through the book, trying to find something that would give him an edge. He had already marked the Hirshin seal away for later purposes, but wanted something to work on himself. Just just when the thought is he couldn't just when he thought he couldn't find anything else, Naruto discovered a seal that gave him a very interesting idea. The seal itself was called the blocking technique absorption seal. A seal that could not only disperse chakra for an attack, but add that chakra to the user's own reserves. Naruto thought about how he could use that and started to think on how to incorporate it into his own design and style. My outfit should have something denoting my Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki swirl, perfect. Naruto began to draw plans on his new new idea, intent on getting it done before the year's worth of training was done. Later that night, daytime, Naruto fumbled with his button-up shirt. It was black with thin red stripes going up and down. No matter how much he messed with it, his collar would just not stay the way he wanted it to. And did anyone else feel how hot it was in the bathroom? He checked his pants to make sure everything was at least all right with them, and was pleased to see his fancy pair of fancy black pants were just right. He worked out the creases and one more time. He worked out the creases one more time and stepped out of the bathroom. He slipped on his shoes. Yes, they actually sold closed-toed shoes in Kiri, something that had never been really seen before. Naruto-kun, are you ready yet? Mei yelled from the lobby, waiting anxiously for her little swordsman to arrive. She herself chose a simple dark blue dress that had open slits on either side, allowing her to show off her creamy legs when she walked. Her lipstick was applied to her nails, The lipstick, her lipstick was applied, and her nails were finally coated in her favorite color of midnight blue. Newly applied all for tonight. Her shoes were just fancier versions of ninja sandals, fitted more for comfort and style than durability. Hinata's sandals during part two. That's what you can use to imagine them. May was also very nervous. This was her first date in a long time, and she didn't want to mess anything up, especially with Naruto. She asked a few intimate questions of his life in Konoha, namely if he had ever had a girlfriend. He had answered her with a sad shake of his head, and outright proclaimed that he figured that no girl would like him either because of his personality or what he carried inside of him. But May planned to prove him wrong tonight. I hope you enjoyed the restaurant I picked. Oh, well, oh, will he like my dress or should I go get another one? God, when did I ever get so stressed out over something? I'm the Mizukage, damn it. I'm ready. Sorry about making you wait, Mei-chan, Naruto whispered into her ear, startling her and making her jump away from him. When she saw his outfit, she blushed and smiled. She blushed a bit and smiled at how cute he looked with his fancy dress shirt. Oh, Naruto couldn't got himself a collar. Let me fix that for you. Oh no. Aw. Naruto couldn't got himself a collar. Let me fix that for you. Let me fix that for you. May moved to him and practiced grace and precision only a woman could have. Easily fixed his collar and smoothed out the wrinkles in his shirt, sneaking a feel at his developing muscles. She sighed in a very fangirlish way, confusing the already embarrassed Naruto even further. Play cool, Naruto. All you're doing is dating an older woman who's probably the most powerful kunoichi in all the elemental nation. Then she can melt your balls off without a hand sign. Nothing to worry about. Ready, May? Naruto asked with genuine sincerity, sincerity, dropping the cute suffix that had been her nickname uh, since he arrived. May looked at him and nodded. She grabbed his outstretched arm and looped her own through it. Glad to see Naruto is almost perfectly at her own height, and he was being so formal with her. He leaned in close to her ear and whispered a sweet compliment that she had been anxiously waiting for all night, making her feel warm inside. May, that dress looks absolutely marvelous on you. Blue is truly your color. Blue is truly your color, majestic and deadly. Kyubi wanted to laugh at the wave. Human waves were very strange indeed. Thank you, Naruto. I must say your outfit suits you wonderfully. You look like a perfect gentleman. The two shinobi walked down the streets of Kiri, completely ignoring the sight, just focusing on one another. On their way to May's restaurant of choice, they made small talk and started converse with each other, much more fluidly and relaxed than they had before. It was as if it was as if just the idea of being in a relationship with each other opened or maybe knocked down the final barrier, keeping their true personalities from each other, and they finally came to see they blended in well with one another. Upon entering the restaurant, the two were immediately seated due to the Mizukage standing. They picked a booth along the wall so they could look out the window and observe Kirigakure's natural holiday celebration. Today marked the day of Jagura's reign ending, the end of the Bloody Mist, and the work to begin the end of the massacres as well. Wow, you actually found a place that serves ramen? May, you are my hero. May giggled at Naruto's outburst. After reading the menu, she had indeed found the restaurant. It was really the main reason why she picked it. She she wanted tonight to go right. She didn't want to make any mistakes with Naruto. He was too precious to her. Yes, I did. I hope you might enjoy it. I think I'm going to have an old Ujigakure dish, cooked fish with rice and vegetables. The fish is the rare type that is only found in the water surrounding the Uzu country. May licks her lips, sunk subconsciously in anticipation. Her mother made this often when she was young. It was one of her favorites. Naruto felt very melancholy at the thought of Uzugakure. While he was happy that it was still a large influence and that was apparently known by many people, it tended him to think of all that was left of his country was some fish and local fairy tales. He decided to get a more detailed history about the old country from May later. She obviously knew a lot more about the Uzumaki than she would like to let on. It sometimes concerned him that she would keep secrets when he had revealed his biggest secret to the woman not too long ago. Food time, both Naruto and May dug into their food meals as soon as they hit table. May apparently shared Naruto's ability to inhale her food with gusto. After finishing their wonderful meal, May asked for a shake with two straws, confusing Naruto. The waiter dutifully brought the chocolate drink back, and laid onto the table. Both occupants now feeling very nervous about the ordeal. Naruto, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. May stopped talking when she felt Naruto's hand move over her own, rubbing her soft, delicate knuckles and palms with a calloused thumb. No, you don't have to apologize, May. This is perfect. Naruto leaned over the table and got his straw into his mouth, wiggling his eyebrows at the woman. She giggled and got her own straw, drinking her fair share of the beverage, and all while holding Naruto's hand. Many of the restaurant goers, especially Ninja, were shocked at the sight of their Mizukage with some kids. Many of the younger ninjas felt despair at losing their crush to the unknown blonde, while some of the older ninja got instant grudges with Naruto, angered angered by the sight. All were turned out, however, by lovebirds. Their eyes were meant only for each other that night. Even they had left the restaurant to view the fireworks. Mage sent them back to the Termi estate, and they sat with each other on the roof, observing the midnight fireworks show. Naruto lay on his bed, with Mei cuddled up on his side, his arm around her in a possessive manner. Tonight was perfect, Naruto. I couldn't have asked for a better date from anyone. Mei looked up into his ocean blue eyes and that looked down into her emerald one, suddenly hoping that she would stop searching, that he would be the one. Well, I hope that I can be the only one that get a date from you anymore. May I mean, if you want that is, Naruto suddenly felt very vulnerable, like he was laying his heart and feelings on the table for women to do what she wants with them. May gasped. Did this mean what she hoped it meant? She gripped his shirt tightly, tears threatening to fall from her eyes. Not at all embarrassed by her own emotional display, she had searched for the right man for so long. She didn't have to be heartbroken again. Naruto, does this mean Naruto um looked at her trembling hand that gripped his shirt into his own, gently massaging it, never breaking eye contact. He leaned in close to her face. She snuggled to get in level with him, or struggled to get in level with him, burning warmth and resonating through her body. Yes, we're together now, May, and I wouldn't have it any other way. With that, Naruto softly kissed the young woman in his arms as the fireworks finale came to a stunning conclusion, lighting up the night sky. This night would no longer be just a night of a Kirigakure celebration. It would now be the anniversary of a wonderful relationship between two Uzumaki. Done. So this is the end of the chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next chapter is going to be a time skip, apparently, according to the author. Uh, I don't think I have much to say. I will leave a description or a link in the description to this fanfic, and it's currently 2 a.m. I just binge made like 3 parts, I think. 4 parts, I'm not sure. Uh, yeah, I binge made 3 parts. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next one tomorrow. Peace.